add yours, head to change.org. But joining me now to discuss, Shadow Education Minister Julian Leeser. Good to see you. Julian, what's your reaction to the news that the hearings will wrap up early tomorrow?
Sherry, I'm disappointed that the hearings are wrapping up tomorrow. I think the Royal Commission has so much more work to do. But the Royal Commission has been hampered from day one by the Prime Minister's decision to make it an 11-month Royal Commission, for the Prime Minister's decision to write the terms of reference that he has for the Royal Commission. I think the ball is firmly within the Prime Minister's court now to ensure that the Royal Commission can do its job by granting it an extension of time. You've got bipartisan support from this, from Chris Minns, from senior coalition figures, from retired judges like Ron Sackville. I suspect there will be more and more Australians coming out over the coming days and weeks calling on the Royal Commission to be extended, because it's really important that the Commission holds people to account, particularly those people who've been engaging in anti-Semitic conduct and those people who've been in leadership positions and have failed in their leadership. If the Royal Commission doesn't do that, it's not doing one of the key things it should be doing, and that is holding people to account. But it's hard for it to do it when this government has given it such a short time frame.
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary that it hasn't called leadership figures or political figures to give evidence when they've really been the ones in charge of overseeing the rise in anti-Semitism. Who else do you think should be called?
Well, I think there should be university leaders. I think leaders in the arts community, people who've been heading organisations like Creative Australia. The President and Race Discrimination Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission should be recalled and asked about their role in failing to deal with the growing level of Jew hate we've had in this country. We should have people who are organising the protests across the country. We should have figures in the arts community who themselves were engaging in the doxing of Jewish artists and creatives. And ultimately, we need to see government ministers who have presided over grants to organisations that have engaged in anti-Semitic activity, whose foreign policy decisions have increased the level of anti-Semitism in this country, whose failure to deal with educational institutions, whose failure to use the law enforcement powers at their disposal has led to ultimately the 15 people murdered at Bondi.
One of the revelations at this week's Royal Commission is that the Home Affairs Department awarded a social cohesion grant to a Muslim media group which has a disturbing anti-Israel history, including platforming this, manosphere influencer called Sneeko. And you might remember he was deported earlier this year after our reporting exposing him. He then had his visa cancelled and Tony Burke kicked him out of the country. But does this suggest that, how on earth was this grant awarded in the first place? Because some of this Muslim media organisation's reports are really concerning, really extreme. Even suggesting the anti-Semitic attacks across Australia were faked or staged.
Well, this is extremely disturbing, Shari, that somebody would be given over $300,000 to an organisation that says that the Jewish community faked attacks in this country, that had a noted anti-Semite like Sneeko being profiled on it. It's the reason why Tony Burke, the Minister for Home Affairs himself, needs to front the Royal Commission to explain how things have got so out of hand in his department that organisations which are damaging the social cohesion of this country are getting taxpayer funding.
I've been reporting about this judgment in relation to one of the vandals who spray-painted anti-Israel graffiti. His name is Mohammed Farat. He, terrorised a predominantly Jewish community in Sydney's eastern suburbs with graffiti. The New South Wales Supreme Court Judge Desmond Fagan ruled that this wasn't anti-Semitic, but there's now been a win of sorts in that the State Parole Board has denied his release, his early release. This is some good news.
I think it is good news, and it is further evidence about why the New South Wales Attorney-General needs to appeal the decision of Justice Fagan in the Supreme Court, which is widely regarded as plainly wrong. And I think that the decision of the Parole Board here, which has found that the relevant prisoner has continued to engage in anti-Semitic ideology, is more evidence of the fact that that decision made by Justice Fagan is wrong.
Yeah, we've been criticising it for a week now. Look, just finally, the local MP for Wentworth, one of the so-called teal MPs, Allegra Spender, has posed for a photograph with Israel critic Bob Carr at the Festival of Dangerous Ideas. We'll have a look at the photo. You might see on your screen that Malcolm Turnbull, his wife Lucy, were there too. Julian, do you think, given Allegra represents one of the largest Jewish communities in Australia, do you think Bob Carr is odd company for her to keep?
Well, this is a matter for Allegra Spender to explain. Bob Carr has been somebody who pretended for many years to be a friend of the Jewish community and has bitterly disappointed so many in the Jewish community and so many across Wentworth with his late career conversion as an anti-Israel activist and with his problematic commentary. He is the main author of the Albanese-Wong foreign policy. He is a person that has caused real heartache for many people in the Jewish community and across Wentworth. And I think Allegra has to be careful of the company she keeps.
All right, Julian Leeser, thank you so much.